The best goalies in the world make the impossible seem like nothing. These are the 25 impossible saves in football. And first up, Manuel Neuer had the GOAT struggling to believe what he'd just seen. 2017, Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid in the Champions League semi-finals. And Ronaldo and Neuer were at it. This one was simple. Ronaldo was Real Madrid's star man, and Neuer kind of knew what to expect already. Still didn't mean it was going to be easy trying to stop him. Minutes into the game, the cross came from deep, and once Ronaldo sorted his feet out in the box and got his shot away, it looked like it was bound to hit the net. At least that's what Ronaldo thought, but the thing is, Neuer had been training for this moment. And seconds later, he stunned Ronaldo. He legit used one hand to stop a Ronaldo power shot. Let that sink in. Amazing. This isn't the first time Neuer's pulling off incredible saves like this. He went to London and had over 60,000 people on the edge of their seats. This time, Neuer was part of the Bayern Munich team that faced Arsenal in the Champions League at the Emirates. And after winning the first leg, the aim was to go there and qualify. But Arsenal wasn't going to go down without a fight. They took the lead early, and seconds later, Walcott got his head on the end of a cross and thought he'd made it too to signal game on. But once again, Neuer came up big and pulled the impossible. Damn, what a save! He clawed it off the line. I bet even his teammates couldn't believe when he saved this one. Amazing. That's why he's one of the best of his generation. Guess the Champions League brings the best of goalies, like the time Liverpool's #1 made a save so insane, it won them the competition. Coming into the last game of the 2019 Champions League group stage, Liverpool and Napoli were going head-to-head for it. PSG had topped their group and had already qualified, meaning the second spot was still up for grabs. And for Liverpool, the only way to qualify was by winning. Salah put them in front early, but the real drama came towards the end. A draw would be enough to take Napoli through. So they went looking for one more goal and launched one final attack. And like that, Dries Mertens found himself one-on-one versus the goalie. And all he had to do was score to send Napoli through and knock Liverpool out. But Alisson wasn't just going to stand there and let him at it. So he made himself big and produced the save of the competition. What a moment! That save ultimately helped Liverpool qualify as runners-up, and they went all the way to win it in June. Incredible. Saves in big games are insane, and it doesn't get any bigger than a World Cup final moment to keep your country in the game. Iker Casillas, he was Spain's goalie in the 2010 World Cup final, and they were on the brink of making history. They'd won the Euros in 2008, but hadn't won the World Cup yet, and this was their ultimate chance. But they were also coming up against a Netherlands team that had lost the final twice in their history, and didn't want to become the first team to lose it 3 times in a row. So the Dutch upped the tempo from minute 1, and pretty soon they had the first big chance of the game. Arjen Robben raced clear of the Spanish defense, and he was one-on-one with the goalie. All he had to do was score and put the Dutch in front. And with that body fent, it looked like he'd sent the goal the wrong way, but Saint Iker had other ideas. Stuck out that left leg last minute and pulled off an incredible save to keep Spain in it. Wow. That year was a year for impossible saves, man. Months back, Julio Cesar was doing the same thing at club level. Inter Milan versus Barcelona in the Champions League semi-finals. And Inter came into the second leg knowing they'd be up against it. They won the first leg 3-1, but in Barca turf, the game was always going to be tough, and it got even worse after Thiago Motta got a red card. Still, they managed to dig deep until Gerard Piqué made the man advantage count and gave Barca the lead. And just before the end, Messi had the golden chance to send Barca through. He went past one defender and another one, and as he got his shot away, it looked like it'd be bending into the far left corner, until somehow Julio Cesar sent it out. Fingertip stuff to deny Messi. Insane. The goalkeepers in Milan are different breed. 12 years later, and in the red half, they had another one making insane stops in the competition. AC Milan versus Newcastle United in the Champions League group stage this season. And away at St James's Park, Milan was always going to be up against it. From the off, Newcastle set out with intent. They kept hitting shot after shot because they knew what was at stake. If they wanted to qualify, they had to get points on the board. But the main reason these shots weren't counting for anything yet was because Mignon was on insane form. He made terrific saves throughout the match, but the pick of the bunch was this one, to deny Joelinton. Used his palm to tip it to the bar. Amazing. Watching a save like this reminds me of the time David Raya pulled off a save so crazy it got him a move to a big club days later. Brentford versus Chelsea in the league this season, and for David Raya this match was going to be personal. See, Raya was on the verge of sealing a move away, but at the time not everyone on the board of his new team was convinced about his abilities. Someone thought he was all hyped and needed to prove himself, and this was the perfect opportunity. He knew against a team like Chelsea the shots would come in from different angles, and this one time, Moises Caicedo took aim from long range. And once he let rip, it looked like it was heading straight into top bins. But Raya was on hand and made a stunning save to deny him. That save was so insane that Arsenal made the move to sign him days later. Amazing just how much a save can change a goalie's life. Took this next dude from being hated to making the national team for his country. Aaron Ramsdale. At the start of the 2021-22 season, Arsenal signed him from relegated Sheffield United. But the move didn't have any hype, all negative energy. Many people believed Arsenal had made a mistake signing Raya, and as a result, they slammed the guy hard on social media. But credit to Ramsdale, he stuck to his game because he knew all he needed was one opportunity to shut his haters up. And in the game against Leicester weeks later, he got his shot at it. A James Maddison free kick, and the guy's deadly from long range. Once Maddison took the kick and got it over the wall, it should have gone in. I say should have because Ramsdale did this. I don't even have the words. Wow, these Premier League goalies are on different smoke. I saw Jose Sarr pull off a save like this weeks back. Sarr was part of the Wolves team that went to Goodison Park to face Everton. Both teams were fighting to stay in the league, so every point was gonna count, and the home team was determined to make that home advantage ring even harder. Everton kept on attacking, and this one time, Idrissa Gueye put a cross into the Everton area. Once Abdoulaye Doucouré managed to get his head on it, I thought it was going in. Sarr was already moving away from the ball, and yet somehow he still got something on it and left everyone stunned. Unbelievable. Even Sarr couldn't believe he'd stopped this one from going in. Out of this world. To quickly adjust his body like that after going away from it is an insane technique. Reflexes to the core. But when it comes to stuff like this, it doesn't get any better than the master of the reflex saves himself, David De Gea. 2017 Manchester United versus Arsenal. The match De Gea had the entire world talking about him. He made 14 saves in the match. 14, man, what the hell? The best one though was a stunning double save. Lacazette got in front of the ball and beat the defender, but his shot at the United goal, well, this happened. The first save was insane, but to quickly move like that and hit a second save with his feet seconds later, reflexes were sharp to the core. De Gea's saves set a Premier League record that game, and after that, he was in the conversation for being one of the best goalies in the world at the time. That performance changed his career. Man of the match stuff. Just like it did for the last goalie I know who won the Man of the Match award in a big game. The Champions League final of 2022, Real Madrid versus Liverpool. And for Thibaut Courtois, this was a big game and a big opportunity. Courtois was playing in his first Champions League final with Madrid. He'd lost out with Atletico Madrid 5 years later after conceding a late goal and 3 more in extra time. This time though, he wanted to win, so he brought his A game and didn't stop with the saves. The guy pulled off saves so crazy it won him the Man of the Match award. And it didn't get any better than the one to deny Sadio Mane from an impossible range. Tipped it to the bar and made it stay out. What a save. Courtois' heroics made him become the first goalie to win Man of the Match in a Champions League final. Legendary stuff. Back to the double saves now, and in Merseyside, England's #1 showed why he's been in the position for so long. Everton versus Chelsea in 2022, and for Everton, it was simply about picking as many points as possible to try and stay up. They needed to win to beat the drop game on. They somehow managed to take the lead unexpectedly against Chelsea, and at that point, guess they knew what was coming next. Wave after wave of Chelsea attack. the Blues didn't stop, and this one time it seemed like they found a way through, when Mason Mount hit a shot on goal, but Jordan Pickford was in that mood where he switches up and becomes unplayable, and he denied them twice in seconds. The first save was great, but that second from Azpilicueta, he jumped like a cat and clawed it off the line. Didn't go in. Can't even lie, Pickford is one of the best goalies around. Pickford pulled this off in the league though. This next dude, he was making clutch double saves in a Champions League final. The 2005 edition, Liverpool versus AC Milan, and Liverpool were getting thumped. They were losing the game 3-0 when Milan went on another attack, and at this point the mission from the Milan end must have been to score more. They were enjoying themselves and looked relaxed too. I even heard the reason they played that well in the first half was that they'd watched Mr. Football's content just before the match started to get into the mood. But the thing is, Liverpool's goalie Jerzy Dudek got in on the secret and watched the same content too. Even hit that subscribe link to the channel. And it got him in the zone because just before that first half ended, he pulled off the most ridiculous double save you'll ever see. Wow, from close range too. That was the moment that changed it because Liverpool went on to come back 3-3 and win the competition on penalties. I used to think double saves were the most insane moves goalies could make in games until I saw Gregory Coupé make this one with his head from off the line. Coupé was with Lyon when they faced Barcelona in the Champions League in 2001, and in the same game he almost got caught out. His teammate hit an awkward pass from range, and it looked like it had caught Coupé out, but somehow he bailed his teammate out with an incredible save. And seconds later, he made another incredible save to stop it from going in. Used his head to tip it to the bar. And that follow-up save, damn, he cleared it off the line. This save will go down in history as epic stuff. Clearing balls off the line is a specialty, stopping it from going in last minute, the kind of stuff Jan Sommer lives for. Sommer was in goal for Mönchengladbach when they took on Bayern Munich in the league, and the game was full of it. Bayern kept the dominance up as they were expected to, and pretty soon they carved out a crazy opening. Joshua Kimmich dropped the shoulder, beat two defenders, and as he got his shot away, Sommer moved to the direction he thought the ball was heading to. But then it took a deflection midway and changed direction, meaning he not only had to adjust for the ball now, but also had to try and save it on time too. Sommer looked like he'd passed the ball, and I even thought it had crossed the line. But the replays came in early, and the stuff I saw in slow-mo, damn. Sommer stopped this one going off the line with his finger. And let that sink in for a sec. What the heck? What a save. It's still not the craziest off-the-line clearance I've seen though. And now for that title, it's for Marc-Andre ter Stegen. 2015 was all about making a mark for ter Stegen. He joined Barcelona in the summer and was only being played in the cup competitions. And now in the semi-finals against Bayern Munich in the second leg, heading back at home in Germany with a point to prove. For years, the guy in the opposite goal for Bayern, Manuel Neuer, well, he'd been Germany's #1. But ter Stegen was ready to prove that he could reach that mark and show he was equally as good too. Bayern also needed to win the game by a wide margin to qualify. They'd lost the first leg 3-0, and in the second leg on home soil, they had to put in a performance for the fans. And Robert Lewandowski was all bent on doing that when he sent his shot on goal and thought it crossed the line. But ter Stegen said no, pulled it out with everything he had. Amazing. Saves like this get my blood racing, like Petr Cech did back in 2012, after he denied Chicharito in the most incredible way possible. Chelsea versus Manchester United in the FA Cup in 2012, and United went on the attack looking to bag goals and seal the win against the Blues at home, when a cross came into the box, and Chicharito's the type of guy to pop from nowhere and bag goals. The Chelsea team knew that, but yet they somehow forgot because when the ball came in from deep, Chicharito found himself alone at the far post and hit his header on target, and once he did, he was about to turn and celebrate, but in split second, his face changed to disbelief. Just like everyone else in the stadium and at home watching. I mean, something did enter the back of the net, it just wasn't the ball. It was the guy who'd produced a miraculous save. Damn. Legendary goalies like Cech used to make saves that made you lose it, like Buffon in 2006, after he pulled off a generational save against another legend. get this, in the World Cup final of that year, Buffon's Italy was facing Zidane's France, and Zidane was playing his last game as a pro. He was still at his peak, meaning he had a lot more to give, and in the opening stages of the game, Zidane rolled back the years to connect with a cross and sent his bullet header straight at Buffon's goal. But Buffon wasn't going to let the player or the occasion get to him, and as Zizou sent that legendary header towards the goal, Buffon responded with a legendary save to match. Amazing! It felt like I was watching a movie, and someone had set these two up with an epic storyline. Looking at it again, and Buffon's save was incredible. He had to tip it over the bar thanks to the force Zidane put on it. The World Cup had produced some moments like this over the years. Run it back to 2018 now, and Thibaut Courtois made his mark on the international stage too. Courtois was in goal for Belgium in the World Cup quarter-finals against Brazil, a heavyweight clash. This was Belgium's golden generation coming up against a Brazil team that was stacked with talent, and the game was already going to be decided by fine margins. Belgium took the lead early, thanks to an own goal from Brazil's Fernandinho. Then De Bruyne doubled the lead to make it 2. Brazil pulled one back with less than 7 minutes to play, and from there it was tension full out. Neymar had one last chance to draw Brazil level. He took the perfect touch and sent a curler straight into the top bins. But in a flash, Courtois was there to tip it over. Amazing. Unless you're Neymar, man. Feels like he's always on the end of these goalkeeping masterclasses. 4 years back, he watched another goalie pull off an incredible save against him. In the 2014 World Cup, Neymar was Brazil's star man against a Mexico team that just wanted to stay in the game. And this one time, Neymar got a rare opportunity to get a header on target. He rarely scores with his head, but this time, Neymar got his header on target and right in the corner too, but in a flash, Mexico's Guillermo Ochoa stopped him with a big claw to keep it out. That was a huge save, very important too. The save helped keep Mexico in the tournament and denied Neymar a header goal in the process. Big hand. But now guys, it's into the top 5, and this next goalie made a save against the odds to keep his team in the game. Liverpool versus Newcastle at the start of last season, and Liverpool was the visiting team at St James's Park where everything went wrong. They went behind early, and seconds later it got worse. Captain Virgil van Dijk got sent off for a red card. Liverpool were on the ropes and Newcastle kept the attacks coming. Another big opening came up soon. Miguel Almiron took a ball down his chest and hit a clean volley straight at goal. And with the power he put on it, 9 out of 10 times it went in. The one time it didn't go in though, was because Alisson had just produced a world-class save. My god, that was impressive. Alisson's save kept his team in the match, and against the odds, they came back with 10 men to win it 2-1. Scenes at full time were wild. You know the save is amazing when everyone's talking about it. Same thing happened in 2018, when Marc-Andre ter Stegen made his ops congratulate him. Barcelona versus Sevilla in the league, and with the scores at 3-0 coming into the latter stages, the game looked dead and buried. Barcelona was supposed to be seeing this one out comfortably, but Sevilla hadn't completely given up, and still had designs on getting back into the game. So they hit on the attack again, and Wisdom Ben Yedder put full power and angled a cross straight into the top right corner. And now I could tell you the stuff ter Stegen did right after, but I'd rather just show you instead. To pull off that first save, it's world class, but to get down seconds later and spread like that to deny Franco Vasquez on the follow-up, take a bow, man. No wonder they call him the German Spider-Man. As crazy as this save was though, it wasn't happening in a World Cup final, like the time Emiliano Martinez shocked the world. In the 2022 World Cup final, Argentina versus France, in the closing seconds of extra time, the scores were tied at 3-3. Messi had scored a brace and Di Maria added one more for Argentina. But Mbappe's hat-trick meant France had come back 3 times in the match, and even got a golden opportunity to make it 4 and seal the win. The Argentine defense misjudged a ball into their area, and once it broke, Kolo Muani was in. The entire stadium was up on their feet. All he had to do was score, and France would become champions of the world and defend their title. So Kolo Muani hit it clean and hard, but it didn't go in. The reason why? This guy. That left leg stopped it and kept the ball out. Insane. Made Martinez a legend too. As a goalie, all you need is one moment of brilliance to let the world in on how good you are. Don't take it from me though, ask the guy who created a skill move so crazy, people still talk about it 29 years later. Rene Higuita was goalkeeping for Colombia in their match against England in 1995. And with the stars on show, I don't think anyone would have been expecting him to be grabbing the headlines, but he did, and for a crazy reason too. England was on the attack, and Jamie Redknapp put an inviting ball into the area, but it failed to meet anyone as it was coming back to Higuita. He could have just caught it and restarted the move for his team, but instead, he realized this was his opportunity in the spotlight. And let's just say he took it and stunned everyone watching. A scorpion kick save. Never before seen in the game. Can't even lie, this should have been number 1, but the guy in first place made a save that defied gravity. At 39 in 2003, David Seaman was at the end of his career, and yet he wanted to go out with a bang. He was in goal for Arsenal in the FA Cup semi-finals against Sheffield United, and even though Arsenal was the favourite, Sheffield United still put up a fight, and they were brave enough to keep creating chances. And moments later, they had their big opening. After the Arsenal defence failed to deal with a corner, Paul Pesce-Solido angled his head just in time to meet a bouncing ball and send it goal-bound. And from that angle, nothing should have kept it out, but yet it didn't go in, and that's because Seaman amazingly stopped it. To still have reflexes like this at 39 in an FA Cup semi-final too, jaw-dropping stuff. I'd bet that moment would have been enough to make Seaman and his family emotional, seeing their dad still putting it up on the big stage. Just like it would have been to Ronaldo and his family after failing to win the big one in his final attempt. Or the saddest day in Messi's life. Click the next video to find out the 10 most emotional moments in football.